Hey everybody, Nick here. So I review a lot of knives. I have a lot of knives coming in and out, and some of them are loaners, some of them I buy just to review and then send on their way, and some actually I want to belong in my permanent collection. The knives that I keep for me because I enjoy them and they bring me joy. It's been about 2 months since I did an update talking about what's in my permanent collection, and so I figured I would do that. I've gotten a couple of requests, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with talking a little bit about some of the knives that I have sold since that time, both ones that I've bought and sold and ones that were there then and are no longer with me. So let's go on ahead and first talk about some of the knives I've sold and why. So I tend to take a strategy when I'm making, choosing things in my life, whether it's in my knife collection or just in my house overall, that if something doesn't bring me joy, I should probably not have it. And this is adapted from Marie Kondo's Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up great book for the minimalist in your life, or for the cluttered person for that matter. But anyways, and so I apply that very heavily to my knife collection. And that means that there are knives that are unquestionably gems, like your Benchmade 940-1 here, but which aren't quite gem-like enough to stick around in my permanent collection because I'm a very choosy person. I really have to keep my collection small for financial as well as just practical reasons. I can't do drawer after drawer knives. It's not my style. So anyways, in my last video I mentioned that the 941 was a very nice knife, but it wasn't one that I was super attached to, and it turned out to be the case. So I got a trade offer, and it went on its way, and I don't really regret it. Pardon me, your Benchmade Valet is in a similar vein. It's a very, very nice little knife, and I imagine 3 years ago this would have been a showpiece in my collection, but now I don't know. I just got knives that I like a little bit better than this, that don't have the axis lock jankiness to them. And, would just, I don't know, this never quite got me to the point of love, 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 love. And that's what it needs to have to stick around in my collection. This one's going to surprise some people, but my Graham Stubby Razor with the custom backspacer was a great, great little knife, and still is for somebody else. But I realized that I just wasn't carrying it, and that was a big part due to the cost carry comfort curve. I was about $550 into this knife, and, at that point, that's a whole lot of knife. I could carry my Nandi, I could carry my Razor, I could carry the Norseman damn near, at that same price point and get a little bit more in the way of awesomeness. And so I ended up selling this guy to a collector who's absolutely in love with it. I got my money back out, which is just a victory of the highest order. And I'm happy that I did. Do I kind of wish I still had it around? I guess, but I probably still wouldn't have been carrying it. So, such is life. This is the Chris Reeve Umnumzan. I talk about this in my cost carry comfort curve video, but it's a beautiful, beautiful knife. It's functionally perfect. It's got some design flaws, but whatever. But it just wasn't getting carried because I had other options that beat it out in the same kind of big hard use knife category. So for the price, I'd rather have my money back out, and I did. Spyderco Chaparral is a gem, 100%. I mentioned in a follow-up that it really is hard on your thumb, the backlock there. And, for me, that ended up being just enough of a disqualifier that I've been looking for something else. And so I ended up selling the Chaparral as well as the titanium version. Actually, I ended up trading, but nonetheless, whatever. And I got no real regrets there. It's a very, very nice knife, but ultimately, I just wasn't so in love that I wanted to hold on to it. The Chris Reeve Nkosi, the review for this just went live this morning, actually, and I really wanted to like this. I bought this for the permanent collection. I paid retail, and I took a little tiny bit of a bath in selling this, about $50. That's actually a pretty big bath. Yikes. But anyways, and, it just didn't do it for me for the reasons I discuss in the review there. So, such is life, and that's the price I pay. The Spyderco Jr. I actually reviewed yesterday. I aired the review yesterday, so to speak, and this was one I bought for my collection because, it's cool, it's a Spyderco, but as I said in the review, it just didn't really touch me, so I moved on with my life. And then the ZTO 456, I've been looking forward to for a while. You've seen the review now, and you've seen that it's a huge, heavy knife. I kept it around for a few days after this review aired, hoping, praying that I might come to love it enough to carry it, but I didn't, and so it's sold. And so those are the knives that I've actually sold. Now let's talk a little bit about what actually is in my collection right now. So this is my current collection. I've got more knives around, most of which for review, and they're nice, but they're not near and dear to my heart in the way that these ones really are. And so rather than telling you again why I like all these knives, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I carry them and how. I've gone ahead and ranked these top knives in order of most carried over here to least carried over here. And so I'll just talk about that. The tie lock, I've said over and over again, is a beautiful thing, but it gets a lot of pocket time because it's so small and light, yet it's at the same time a very capable cutter. Really, really nice knife, and it gets a whole lot of pocket time because of that. The Sleesh buoy is just wonderful. As a technical feat, I love it, and so it gets a fair amount of pocket time because of that, which is good. This has actually been a surprise to me. This is the ZTO 562CF. Really, really nice knife. And, there's going to be a review of this guy, don't worry about that, but I'm really giving it time to make sure that I fully understand what's going on here, because this is just a really excellent knife, and it's been getting a lot of pocket time too, and it's been taking pocket time from the PM2 and to an extent the Razel on days when I want something I can use a little bit harder, which is a very nice thing. The Norseman is the Norseman. I don't really need to say too much about it. It's just a wonderful thing. It doesn't get carried as much as some of these other guys, mostly because it is pricey. And so on a day when I know I'm going to be running and jumping or something like that, pardon me, the Norseman isn't likely to be my candidate, just because I'm scared to lose it, or on hard use days. I know it can take hard use, but I like this knife too damn much to really do terrible things to it. The Graham Razel is definitely getting some time, specifically on days when I know I'm going to need a tool. That tends to get love. Yadelica gets carried a lot on days when I'm going to be running or jumping or something like that, and I want something that's both lightweight and that's something I can afford to lose. If I'm, going kayaking or something like that, I'm going to take Yadelica, because if it goes in the drink and I can't get it back, okay, such is life, that sucks, get a new Delica, I'm out. $80 with the clip. No big deal. Yamanandi is a knife that gets carried really only when I'm trying to be more formal or when I can't do a pocket clip, at which point I will throw it into its little slipcase here and carry it that way. Very nice little knife, but it just doesn't get that much. And actually the Dragonfly, it's good for travel, but I've also designated this as my ultra sharp knife. I've put a really nice edge on it, and so if there's a day when I know I'm going to need to be doing some weird precision cutting on something, I will often throw the Dragonfly in my pocket as well, so I can, do that. And so I keep the edge on this really absurdly sharp, which is just kind of fun to have. But like I said, it's mostly for travel. These four on the bottom don't really get carried. The 452CF is a very, very nice knife mechanically. It's got a great action, and I like it just for that reason. And it's very pretty, let's face that too. But it's so ridiculous. I can't really carry this in my everyday life, and so it's as close as I come to a safe queen. This may end up getting sold soon, I don't know, but it's a very, very nicely built knife, even if it isn't me. The PM2 is a great knife, and it has gotten a lot of pocket time in the past, but between the ZT562 here and the Graham Razel, I've got two really good hard use options, and the ZT actually carries a little bit better than your PM2 here. It's a little nicer in the pocket than your PM2, and so on days when the PM2 might have come with me, the ZT is going with me these days. So, the PM2 it's iconic enough I may need to keep it around just for reviewing purposes, but it's maybe working its way out of my collection. Which is a shame. This Kaiser I never carry, but I always just talk about the fact that I kind of love it. It's a $100 knife that I've gotten $120 worth of use out of, and it sticks around, and it's also a fun comparison against your ZT over here. You can see very much what Kaiser was ripping off here. Yeah. So that's that, and then your Spyderco Ladybug down there doesn't really get carried. It stays in the, little change tray by the door, but at the same time, it's a little beauty, and so I keep it around. So that's where my collection's at these days. I got some things coming in, I got some things going out. I'll let you guys know in another couple of months what my collection looks like then, but that's where I'm at the moment. I hope this is at least somewhat interesting to you. Tell me if it is, and frankly if it isn't, in the comments, and feel free to ask any questions, and have yourselves a wonderful day.